Welcome back, everyone. Today I thought I would do another live photo editing session with me because the last one seemed to do pretty well. I think you guys enjoyed it. So it's going to be a pretty chill time. We're just going to be looking at some photos that I've already picked out here. Yeah, but we won't do a dive into the archive today per se. I'm going to pull it. I didn't even. But we've gotten picked out about 129, 100 so. We'll see how many we get through today. Uh, these were all taken in Thailand last year. They're kind of all over the map because I've already done a large Thailand batch, but I thought I'd go back and see what I missed. Yeah, this is going to be a full editing session from apart from the selection. We'll be doing just all our edits and our keywording. None of these have keywords or even metadata. So we'll be doing all of that. If there's any people or trademarks, we'll be removing those. And yeah, got the beats playing in the background. I hope you enjoy. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so starting off with the blue temple here. And as you guys know, for the most part, my when I'm going back and doing a batch edit for stock, I tend to start pretty automatic with the settings, and then go in to do all the details individually. And one thing I like to do across the board to start are do the things that I know will not be affected by any auto settings. So let's start off by auto syncing lens correction. You want to have that enabled. Make sure it's the right lens. And then I like to give everything a little bit of sharpening, turn down the radius so it's not as crunchy. And then I know that the texture clarity and dehaze settings are not affected by auto settings, so we'll go in and adjust those now while we have all the photos selected. And a little bit of dehaze doesn't hurt. I do find with the R5 that you can really push the clarity. Depends on the monitor that you're looking on, but of course, with the added pixels, it definitely doesn't make it as crunchy. I won't touch vibrance or saturation or any of these other settings until we've turned off our auto sync. Okay, right off the bat, not bad. This thing's kind of bothering me, the transform, so do it. But that's a round post, so it's kind of tricky. Okay. Come on. Let's see. I want to keep that top, and I can tell already anyway that there's people that need to be taken out of this. So this one's going to end up in Photoshop. There's some copy here that probably should come out. Yeah, that's still sponsorship and stuff. So we'll get this photo looking beautiful, and then it'll end up in Photoshop, and we'll have to take it under the knife a little bit. Right off the bat, I can tell we need a little bit of vibrance. It's flat still, especially stock standards. And as a general rule, I like to get my whites clean. You guys know that I have these like markers on, so I know when unclipping neither highlights. You can see up there in the roof. So, I think that's a good start. We can pull some more shadow. We push here 4.4. Let's lift our black a little bit. Like the black. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to do some sky stuff, but I'll save that for Photoshop. It tends to be better there. Okay, first one. There's my buddy. I'll have to take him out probably. Definitely recognize him. Okay. Lift the blacks. A little bit more crunch. Still looking a little faded. I'm gonna save that there. Number two are I typically leave these as shot, but you know this one might get a little bit more punch out of it. Yeah. Yeah, these were all taken in Chiang Rai. We ended up there. We booked another Airbnb, and basically it wasn't much, but we were only there for a day or two. The sad thing was for our buddy, who's actually this guy. We booked the place, and it said like we talked to the person, and they said they had an extra room that they would charge us additionally for, and we're okay, whatever, fine. And then when we got there, we never actually met with the person, but they informed us that we wouldn't be able to get the room. So our buddy had to sleep on this like tiny love seat for 3 days. But we didn't switch because the other four of us were two couples. So the couples were staying together, and he just kind of drew the short straw there. But we made it up for it. Made sure he had a great room after that. Yeah, for stuff like this, you know, I'll probably go in and do just like a quick sync. I don't expect any my settings change between the two. Probably keep an eye on your histogram up here. Good. Yeah, whenever you see me just kind of flip my cursor around, I'm usually looking at like these values here, seeing kind of like, you know, if, especially, yes, for see if it's bright, dark, I like to check my shadows here, like obviously in the areas where I'm clipping, we're getting nothing, but no, even just overall, like when you go and you look at your kind of like your whites here, it's a good idea to get a sense of your colors and what's going on. So pretty blue, but again, that's in the shadows. Where it's getting sun, maybe we could warm that. Clear it, and we just fix our blacks. Yeah, I try not like click contrast is something that's like the last line of defense I find. Um, it's not super great to rely on. I still get a little bit. So yeah, here's one thing I like always think about whenever you're in these kind of settings. Just remember, one thing that I always try to remind myself is, wide, medium, close. So I'm always thinking like, what's wide in the shot that I can capture, and that would be the whole environment. and then you go in and getting details, details, details. You're not seeing some of those wider shots in this collection, obviously, because these were just flagged recently for this purpose. But that's something I'm just always thinking about when I think this one will fix the transform, because I'm not as worried about that. That's not the focus in this one. And I'm going to leave the crop, and we're going to take filler out. Just remember to take shots as well. Really black settings here. Kind of embarrassed by that. Yeah, why? I was probably shooting AV with ISO range not specified, is my guess. That's usually how, if I'm my version, like if I were to shoot just auto, if I'm like for travel and stuff like that, most of the times I would go AV, auto ISO, and then set the range. Always set the range of ISO between like a certain bracket. Let's we're overheated. Too bad. Yeah, pretty happy with this. A little bit more. A little bit more vertical. Makes it stand taller too, which is a nice. So when I threw in, I'm not sure what we're gonna get out of it, but I feel like we could do some denoise, but really like a photo like this, it's gonna need a lot more. We'll probably do denoise and then do my edits, but I'm not huge on this one, so I'm just gonna skip it for now. This is a good one. This might get flagged for like, what's it called? Intellectual sort of stuff because of the design. If we can get away with it, I'll take it. Yeah, I'm gonna try and leave the person in this case because they're not super identifiable. We'll take a chance, and you know, if it doesn't pass, then we'll do another round without the person. I'm not sure on this one, sir. It's probably it's a good photo, but I don't think it deserves what we need for stock. Might figure out because I don't. Definitely, well, yeah, because like it does give it more of a travel vibe, but it'll just depend on the agency, I guess. Yeah, this time I did the opposite. I give her a little pop instead of toning down. But also too, you could like kind of there's other things that we do to draw attention, like that. Like by giving her a little warmth too, it makes that kind of sunlight stand out against everything else in the scene. But this might be a good time too, where instead of dealing with the subject, we instead bring in like a linear gradient. Actually, no, I'm going to do a not a linear gradient. It's going to be a gradient so that I can really make it go exactly how I need it to. And kind of tone that down. Let's see, without without with just kind of evens the setting. You know, I might even go crazy and do another one. Do the opposite thing here, yeah. Not that much, but that idea. I guess that's the default. Let's try half that. Yeah, that's looking good. So then, yeah, like from that to that. I know you're thinking it's still probably pretty flat. Could put our shadows down a little bit, but overall, generally, I try not to have too much contrast in these images. You know, it's not always your personal preference that you have to deal with, but it's what sells, and I think that's what makes like a great photographer is knowing how to deal with both kinds of clients, you know, and especially in not deviating from what's true to you. What I mean by that is like knowing what your own style is, what you like to shoot, versus what's just going to make you money and uh, what people are looking for. So yeah, in this case, like I know sometimes it hurts me to do, but I have to kind of flatten these images out in a sense that they become applicable to a wider range, or not just that, so that it's flat enough that other people who are going to be dealing with those images, be it photo editors or photo buyers or whomever, uh, that they have enough information to make the adjustments that they also see fit. Because if I went in and I made this like nuclear and super, I don't know, or like super dark, and like made this contrast, made it so that the okay, we're back. All right. Sorry. Yeah, just leaving it as generic as possible for the widest audience possible. I'm gonna do. Where am I? We're just gonna. I don't like this branch here. We're just gonna take it out. So I knew I had a photo of this without the guy. Oops. So let's just give it this blacks up. Full shot. This would have been taken. Okay, yeah, now we're in a different city. That's why. Yeah, this was the pie lookout. I'm pretty sure in northern Thailand, Pai, whereas where we were before. This was Chiang Mai because this was the first time I ever rode on a scooter. And that's a fun story right there. So basically, most people they go to Thailand, no one has that kind of experience. It depends. Europeans probably have more experience with scooters than North Americans. But what happened for us was like going there and never ridden on one. Even though I've been to like Kampala, I should have ridden one there. But anyway, um, my girlfriend and I went to Thailand with the thought like, oh, we're not gonna need a scooter. We'll be fine with buses and taxis and Ubers and whatever. And that was so naive. Basically, like as soon as we got to Chiang Mai, a bigger city, you realize right away that to take a bus or a taxi or a grab or whatever to get to somewhere that you could scooter to, I guess. I don't know. It would be the same. It would be, sorry, not the same. It would be like 3, 4 times more to take a bus then it would be just to rent the scooter for the day. So you learn pretty quickly that you need it. But what happened was it was already kind of late. Like it was probably 1, 2 p.m. by the time we got to the scooter rental place. And by then we're like, it's late November. And we're all looking at each other. Well, my girlfriend and I are looking at each other like, I don't know if this is a good idea because what's going to happen is if we go up on this big mountain, like up here, whatever, uh, what's going to happen is sure we'll get up there, but we'll feel rushed the whole time because there's no way I'm going to be riding in the streets of Chiang Mai on the very first time I've been on a scooter at night in rush hour. And so we go up to see the temple. The whole time I'm staring at my watch, looking at the time, and we finish off at the temple, and we're like, okay, let's go back to the scooters. Let's go back to the scooters. But meanwhile, like everyone we're with, they're kind of like, we're kind of hungry. We want to get food. There's a restaurant up here. Let's just grab a bite to eat. Okay, that's fine. Let's grab a bite to eat. It's getting darker, guys. It's getting darker. And then, sure enough, by the time we get to back to the scooters, the sun's practically set. And keep in mind too, like we're in like the jungle. So I realized that I didn't have my knife on me. So we're in the jungle, right? So in the forest, basically, the sun's setting a lot faster than we realize. So by the time we make it to the bottom of the hill, not even by the time we make it to the bottom of the hill, we're still like halfway down the hill, and the sun's like almost gone. So yeah, get to the bottom. My worst fear comes true. We're greeted by a million taillights, and it's dark, chaotic traffic, like just exactly everything I didn't want to deal with. So we found our place in the traffic. All the scooters, all the motorbikes are flying around us, and like that was the one thing I'm like, okay, this is already pushing it. I'm not doing that first day kind of crazy driving, But yeah, sure enough, we survived, and by the end of the trip, we were doing all that crazy driving ourselves. So it's just it's a little much to experience on the first day. I think that's all I'm saying. Is I was up for the adventure, but that was a little crazy on the first day. You see what I just did there? So that's kind of the difference application of how I use deciding the when to use gen fill and just content aware fill. That shadow down there, I definitely had enough information around here to remove it, but people up there was just not enough visual information for the program to really know what it had to recreate based on what was already available in the photo. Yeah, it's like content aware fill is always king, because no matter what, it's always sampling resolution from your actual photo. It's not creating its own information. And some of you may know that if you've ever used gen fill in your edits, you know that if you know it's there, you can still see it, sort of thing. And that's because it typically has a lower resolution. And the amount of people I've seen when it first came out being like, hey, why is it like, it looks good, but when I zoom in, why does it look like poop? And well, yeah, like it's very low resolution. Now they're getting better and you can upscale it and all that stuff, but it's never like, it's never perfect, I find. Just syncing these two up. Same, take them within moments of each other, I'm sure. Just doing crop and flipping. And I always say this too, like if it looks like on your screen I'm going a little crazy with the edits, uh, don't worry. That's like I have to say this all the time to so many people. Like what you're seeing on your screen does not reflect my screen. And I have to say that in case your screen looks like, if this looks like it's 100% saturation right now and insane because I've pulled the vibrancy up so much, uh, just trust me. On my screen, it's BenQ designer monitor. I know it's accurate, so I'm not too worried about the colors and tone as they come through on your screen. But if you do have any comments or anything that you want to add while I'm doing this, just feel free to drop it in the chat, and I will discuss with you live. And if you're just joining me, this is a live photo editing, and I've got some just chill music. We're going through some old Thailand photos and just getting them up ready to upload to stock and whatever else application we see fit for them. It's just good to always have your photos, edited, keyworded. These are all things that I would, recommend anyone have to do in any other work. Okay, this will be another time where I'm going to try and use content aware. Oops. Yeah, looks pretty good. If you didn't know, if you didn't know that wasn't there, or that was there, you wouldn't really know. Sky shots are kind of whatever, dime a dozen, but good to have, especially local to the area. If someone's trying to write an actual story about this particular spot, they might want an actual sunset taken from this location, so with that in mind, we'll still make it pretty. Yeah, and if anything is a little loud with the audio channels or anything like that, just let me know. I've been moving my mic around, so I don't know if that's blasting in your ears or anything like that. And this is the first time I'm trying out this royalty-free background music. So if the levels are a little off on that, I apologize. Also, guys, just let me know if you enjoy me kind of narrating what I'm doing, or if you just want me to shut up. And yeah, if you're using the background music just to do your own work and we're hanging out together, I love that. That's kind of what these videos are for. You know, if you're, I just kind of want you to play it in the background, and riff off each other. If you got any questions in your own editing process while we're working, feel free to let me know. If you have any questions or suggestions based on what I am doing, I'd love to hear it. Hmm. That's somewhere where content aware should have worked, really. Did not. So notice that got some pretty nasty spots right here. Yeah, these ones I'm kind of taking a gamble on a little bit, obviously because of the property aspect of it, but it depends. It could depend how we keyword it based on the fact that it is now a provincial kind of like landmark in the city of Kanchanaburi, because it used to be. So the story with this place is it was a like a paper mill, and once it was decommissioned, the I guess it was probably down to dollars. It was obviously cheaper to not demolish it and just leave it up as a become this kind of like open air museum. And it's nice. It's cool because I always thought like when I was there like this sort of thing wouldn't really work in Canada because of liability and stuff, or like America or any other kind of Western world. Um, because you basically get there, you sign in with the guard, and you tell them, "Yeah, I'm here." Write down your name, whatever. It's free, and then that's just kind of so they can track the ins and outs of who's there. And then you're free to roam around. It's kind of just to use a common sense place. Like like there's some parts that are like suggestedly gated off, I want to say. But then there's some parts where you can just wander through, and you're probably thinking, "Oh, I shouldn't be here," but it's totally fine. It's what it is. Yeah, if you like, the other thing we could do with these live streams is if you guys are really into kind of like the stories about what I'm talking about, or learning more about where the photos were taken, we could do like a side by side with like Google Maps, or we could pop open Google and just do a little bit of research on these areas, and we can all learn a little bit more. It's totally your call. I'm just kind of experimenting with different things right now, but ultimately we're in the driver's seat together. And if there's something that you guys want to see, or if you guys want to me talk longer on each of the photos, that's something we could totally do. Here's a quick little logo we're going to try and remove. um, it might, this whole thing might be an issue, but considering that's the subject of the photo, then we'll just leave it. If it gets rejected, it gets rejected, and that's the way it is. This was a really cool shot. All these bags. Yeah, it shot really nicely. This was spooky. These handprints were here and just like dragged down. Oh my gosh. We didn't know if someone like the employee or the guards do that or what, but that is terrifying. You can see it better now, those hands. Yeah, now we're traveling all the way south to Krabi on our way to Kojum. And I've got some fun photos coming up in Kojum that I'm excited to talk about. It a little hint, I guess it has to do with one of Thailand's oldest traditional trade. I don't know what you call it, really. Production. Do we try and leave this guy in? Nah, I think he's a little too recognizable. He's a cool dude, just walking up and down the beach looking for crabs. At this point, we're actually in Kojum, which is a small island on in the south of Thailand on the east coast, on the east side of the peninsula. What is it? Best place. So what I mean is yeah, it's peninsula. Alright, I guess whatever that is. This part. Yeah, these will be issues. Not the people so much, probably the name. We'll just take out the name and the numbers to be safe. Just like that. The wording too, maybe. I don't know what it says, but it probably says the same thing, but in Thai. And in any text, really, I guess. Just because you can't read it doesn't mean it doesn't say something, right? There we go. That's pretty actually. It's a gorgeous shot. Just in terms of the color, I really like the depth. We're at 6:3. Yeah, maybe bring up the side just a little bit. That's cool. I don't know what I was thinking with this one by adding it to stock pool. I mean, but for any out of focus fisherman, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe someone has an application for this. Not while it's that dark though, so let's bring it. Similar shot. I think. Again, I don't know about these people. What we feel about them. They might be more identifiable when you're looking at it. So I think it's just safe practice. We'll go with it. I was tossing like a beer at the side actually. Or gotcha. Perfect. The driver, leave him. Without him, there's not much context really to the photo, if you know what I mean. Like, at that point, it might as well just be not accepted. This one I added. Not sure what I was really thinking by adding this. This is gonna need a lot of work. Yeah, I think for now we'll take that one out of the pool. Okay, this is what I was talking about earlier, the rubber tree. So when we first got to Koh Jam, we weren't really sure. We'd seen some of these trees hanging around with like missing all this bark. And we're like, what is that? And so after talking to some people, they're like, oh, those are the rubber trees. And it's the rubber leaking out of the tree itself and getting collected in this bucket. And what you can see here is some of the rubber that's like oxidized and solidified. So I think they take this part off and then they're left with the usable part that they can extract. And so the guys would go out pretty much every night, and that's when they would collect all the rubber at night. It was super fascinating just to learn like what was going on with that. Never seen it or been exposed to raw rubber myself, it was really fascinating to see. Yeah, this thing was weird. Like when we saw it, like down the beach, we're like, it's a weird pirate ship. Like there's a pirate ship beached here. What the heck is that about? And then as you walk closer, sure enough, it's just this like giant rock that I think there was a bar here or something that they built on. Yeah, there's people up here sitting, which is crazy that you'd actually sit up on this thing. Yeah, here's a closer shot. Couple roosters. So yeah, these fast foods, like what you're looking at here, is all the this is the rubber after it's gone through this machine. It gets pressed, and then it gets left out to dry in these mats. And it was funny actually, the first time we came across someone drying these mats, it we thought they were, well, I thought they were hides, like cow hides or something. Like it kind of looks like that, leather. But then upon closer inspection, no, in the context of everything else, it makes perfect sense that it's the rubber. Okay. Oops. Had to be here. Anyway, we just finished up the last couple edits on this guy, this one, and this one, and this one. And that concludes our Thailand. So it does not conclude the live stream just yet, guys. So next, we're going to be doing our keywording. And to do that, we're going to be using the help of Pixify Generate. So what I'm going to be doing for all these photos is just going in and adding some context to where these photos are. So this is kind of a fun part for me because it means that I have to kind of go onto Google and we're going back into these places and finding the names of them. So there we go. And all I'm doing is just copying and pasting this into here for context. And this is another time where like you could very well just say like person stringing bells in Thailand or whatever, but there's probably better photos, like oversaturated and better photos of that exact thing. So we're going to ignore that today. These ones I'll just leave blank, I'm not too fond of those, but and then yeah, and then we'll just keep I'm trying to stay vague, but not just city name vague. So for instance, Chiang Mai, I will at least look for okay, so okay, this time we'll say Chiang Mai, Thailand, because I do believe that Chiang Mai is like the hill and the temple and everything. So we'll let this decide what it wants to do with it, that information. So all I'm doing here is just going through all of the files that we're going to keyword. Maybe the sky one alone will just leave blank, and then the rest will just put my lookout. So Kanchanaburi. And it helps too that I actually have everything still saved on that in here. So it helps to find what we're looking for. Yeah. Here's the Skywalk, River Quad. Let's look up the bus station. Bus terminal. Okay, so that's there. Skywalk's there. There's that. Because I know we walked from the bus, and we walked down, like, here, is this it? Swimming pool. Let's see if we can search just paper factory. Oh, okay, that's it. So I don't know if I'm going to be putting this in the title, but could search this and just see what it says. Interesting. Okay, so that's what. I'll just leave it at that. I think it will deduce that it's from Thailand. All of these files are going to get that. This is something I could easily see someone writing a little travel blog about or something after going to it. So so it's something like, I'd like to actually get the name of the pier that it was taken from area. It's just a little bit more specific than the actual city. All right, just like that, you got all our file instructions. We're gonna hit generate, and yeah. So this will probably take a while. I'm probably gonna end the stream here. Basically, the next little bit is pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna go ahead and export these from Lightroom and start uploading them to each of the stock websites. So I'm sure you'll see them there, and we'll probably revisit these in a future video where we're going on and trying to do a reverse image search and see how they're being used, because that's always fun to see them in the wild. Thanks again for hanging out with me for this live edit. I hope you'll join me again and populate the chat with more questions and any feedback you have from your own editing, or anything that you have questions about my own editing practice. Well, yeah, I'd love to interact with you guys more in the chat. And I'm enjoying these live streams. I was going to be doing this photo editing anyway, so it was just nice to share it with you. And I definitely feel more focused when I'm hanging out with you guys. So it's been great. It's been a win-win, productive for all of us. And let me know how you enjoyed it, what's working, what wasn't working. Again, this was the first time I tried the background music. So if you like the background music, be sure to let me know. And obviously, I won't know how the audio levels really are until after this video goes live. So we'll have to maybe make some adjustments based on our levels and everything. But you might have noticed too that I lost the headphones. My ears were killing me, so I just grabbed this mic and it seems to be doing the trick, but again, we'll have to see. And yeah, so we'll see you in the next one. Make sure you hit subscribe so you can catch me on these live streams when they go live right away. And until next time, see ya.